Okay, there we go. All right, so to do the determinant, we practice doing 2x2s today. And the reason we can do a 3x3 by hand is because it only requires us to do determinants of 2x2s. We take an original matrix, so like if my original matrix was A, B, C, D, the determinant is A times D minus B times C, okay? We did that in a couple other things, but I skipped this determinant of C, and I want to come back and I want to do that, okay? So let's recopy this determinant of C down. So you may need to flip your paper over, or I might be able to get it up on the board fast enough. I've got, I think it's 1, 0, 1, -1, 3, 4, and then 2, -1, 0. Is that what your matrix C looks like? Okay. All right, so when we do the determinant of this, we're going to do 3 separate parts, okay? So I've got 1, 2, 3 parts, okay? And in between the first and the second, I'm always going to minus, and then in between the second and the third, we're always going to add. So that's just a rule that kind of comes with this. Okay, we got to do a little bit of a pattern with this determinant of my 3x3 matrix. So I am going to highlight, and you don't necessarily have to highlight, just kind of watch me. I'm going to highlight the first row and then the first column. There's a number that overlaps both of those, right? That top left one, number 1. We are going to do 1, and we're going to do that times the determinant of the 2x2 matrix that's left when I look at those highlighted parts. So we're going to do 1 times the determinant of 3, -1, 4, 0. Do you guys see that little 2x2 that's left in like the blank space that's not highlighted? So 1 times the determinant of 3, -1, 4, 0. Okay. Now, so we did first row, first column. We're going to move my column over, and now we're going to do first row, second column. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to look at that middle column. And so I'm going to do -1 is going to be the number I multiply by the determinant of. And then now the 2x2 matrix are those 4 numbers that are not highlighted either. It's going to go 0, -1, 1, 0. Okay. And then last, I'm going to move my column one more time to do that third column. Now I'm going to do 2 times the determinant of again, the blank matrix that's there, 0, 3, 1, 4. We've got 3 little determinants that we're doing in here, okay? I might have a few more steps than you guys are used to, and that's okay. But I'm going to do my determinant separately, and then I will do all my multiplying, combining, and fun stuff in a second. Okay, so I'm going to do 1 times, when I do the determinant here, I'm going to do 3 times 0 minus -1 times 4. That's my determinant of that first bit. You guys okay with that so far? Okay. Now I'm going to think of that as minus -1 times the determinant of my next matrix, which is 0 times 0 minus -1 times 1. And then last I've got +2, and then the determinant 0 times 4 minus 3 times 1. All right, now I'm going to simplify all my inside little math problems, okay? I'm going to do 3 times 0, which is 0. So I've got 1 times 3 -1 times 4 is -4, but that becomes a plus. So it's gonna be, oh wait, why did I say 0 times 3 was 3? That was silly. 0 times 3 is 0. And then plus 4. I'm gonna make that minus a negative a big plus as well. So +1, 0. Oh, and then another +1. And then +2 times 0 minus 3. So this is all the same thing as 1 times 4 plus 1 times 1 plus 2 times -3. Four plus 1 minus 6, and that's -1. Okay, I know that that's funny and a lot of little pieces, bless you, but the math isn't too crazy, is it? No. Okay. We already did letter K. Remember, we determined that it wasn't a possibility because it was not a square. So we're gonna try one more by hand, and then we're gonna get our calculators out, and I'm gonna show you all the fun stuff you can do with the calculator, okay? Do you think you can try this without me? Okay, let's remember we start by doing our highlight. So I'm looking at first row, first column. So I'm gonna do 3 times the determinant of 1, 3, 5, -2. Then I'm gonna look first row, second column, and I'm gonna do -0 times the determinant of 6, -1, or sorry, 6, 3, -1, -2. And then last, I look at my first row, last column. So now I'm gonna do +5 times the determinant of 6, 1, -1, 5. All right, from here, I bet you can work it up from this point. All right, again, I've still got all my work on the board. You can see what it's looking like. All right, and I've got all my work on the board if you want to check it. Okay, we doing okay with this so far? Everybody get 104? Okay. All right, now, okay, we are at a calculator stopping point. So I want everyone to get their calculators out. And I want you to come back to this page where I've got all of my matrices that we've been using this whole time, A, B, C, and D. So go ahead and get your calculators out. let me see if I can. Okay, I don't know if I can clear all my stuff out, so I can't make mine look just like yours did, because I've already edited my stuff. But, if you wanna do matrices, okay, I want you guys to all find, the left-hand column of buttons, that goes second, it goes alpha. If you look down that left-hand column, do you see one that says matrix above it? Mine says matrix in blue above the button that says X to the negative first. You guys all see that button? That means we're gonna press second, and then we're gonna press X to the negative first, okay? Your first menu should just have letters. Does it say A, B, C, D, and nothing next to it? It kind of looks like this, but it starts at the beginning of the alphabet. Okay, that means your matrices are empty. They are blank, they have not been used, okay? When you do fill them in, you'll get the dimensions next to them, okay? We cannot do anything with them here. If you were to press a button here, it's gonna go back to like your doing math page. So if I want to change my matrix or edit them, where do you think I should go? To the edit tab. So we're gonna go all the way over to edit, and I want you to click on A. I'm gonna click on a different one so you can see what I see. Okay. Do you see something that looks like this? A pretty blank matrix page. It first asks you to do the dimensions. It asks you how big is your matrix gonna be. So if we're doing matrix A, our first matrix is a 2 by 2 matrix. So I'm gonna press 2 and this, then enter, and then 2 and then enter. And then I know everyone's calculators look a little different, but in some capacity, you should see like a 2 by 2 box that you can enter the different elements in. Is everyone doing okay so far? Okay, now I want you to fill in all the buttons for, or all the numbers for matrix A. So I'm gonna go 1, enter, -2, enter, 3, enter, 5, enter. Now, I'm gonna tell you right now, and I'll tell you again several times later, but we're gonna do a lot of calculator stuff eventually. And if you mistype something or put something in the wrong box or lose a negative, your whole problem is wrong. So I always go back and double, triple check, did I input this exactly correctly? 1, -2, 3, 5. Okay, I did. When you're done with that, I want you to press second mode and get out of there. Okay, second mode, and then it goes back to like your basic math screen, right? We gotta go back into matrix to put in my matrix B and C and D. So press second, X to the negative first again. Same thing, go over to edit, and I want B to be the matrix that you see on your paper. Can you go do that for A, B, C, and D? Yeah? Okay, mine are already in, so I'm not gonna do it, but does anyone need help? Okay, I need all of you to put them in. All of you to put them in. Anyone need any help? So your matrix A should look like mine. Your matrix B. Here comes an ad.
Math problems, effortless. With photo problem solving.
What'd you do?
Oh, that is tough. Dang.
Available on the App Store.
To get
Why'd you?
a
put
picture math app ad on my math class on Zoom. Ooh, that really hurts.
That sting.
Man, during Alpha, it was just like Chick-fil-A, so it was annoying, but at least it was like, I guess we'll want some chicken now, but that was a rude ad that they just played,
Yeah,
so.
there they.
All right, make sure your B looks like mine. Make sure your C looks like mine as well. This one's a 3 by 3, so if you don't make sure that it's a dimension of a 3 by 3, it's gonna be tough. And then last is a D, and it's gotta be a 2 by 3. So you need to make sure your matrices all look like mine, okay? Is everybody with me, or is anybody still inputting and needs another minute?
Okay.
Need a minute? Okay, I'll be quiet for another minute. No, they're. What we're about to do, once you have all your matrices in, is we're gonna solve some of the problems I made you do by hand. I'm gonna show you how to do them in the calculator. I will tell you that you will have a quiz on Wednesday next week, I think. I don't remember, it's on Schoology, whatever it says on Schoology, you'll have a quiz that day. I think everything that we learned today will be on your quiz, so I should be giving you the quiz Tuesday, but I thought after a long Easter break, I didn't want to give you a quiz right when you came back, so we're gonna push it back a day. But everything that we'll have learned, you will could take the quiz tomorrow. Does that make sense? It's gonna be an all no calculator quiz. So what I'm about to teach you now are fun tricks for later, but you don't get to use them for the quiz. But it's a really good way to check your work and kind of know the power of the calculator as we go. Okay, so let's do it. Let's do A plus B. Okay, so let's practice. How do we use matrices on our calculator? So we have all of them entered in. So I want to go back to my matrix menu. So I'm going to press second matrix. And now I want to stay on the names page, and I'm going to press A, and then I'm going to do plus, and I'm going to come back to my matrix menu and press B. So I see A right there. I'm just going to hit enter. When you do that, it should immediately pop back up on our do math page. Is everyone with me there? Now I'm going to press plus, and then I'll do second matrix again, and now I'm going to press B. My calculator says A plus B, which is what my paper says, so I'm going to press enter. Is that the exact same matrix we got the other day? Yes, it is. Okay. We could do A times or A plus 2B, but I'm not going to show you that. Let's do letter C, 2A plus D. Do you remember what answer we got when we did that by hand the other day? We got what? You can't do it, right? You can't do it. What I want to do is show you what the error screen looks like, because you will get an error screen in this unit. But if you come to me on a test or quiz and you're like, oh my God, Miss White, I'm freaking out. What does this mean? I can't tell you. So I want us to see all the error screens today. So we're going to type 2, and then we're going to go get our matrix A, and then we'll press plus, and then I'll go back and get my matrix D. So see how it looks exactly like 2A plus D? We know by hand it shouldn't work, so let's see what the calculator's error message is to us. All right, mine says something funny, yours says mismatch, but it's like a whole new screen pop up that says like error. Yeah, it's like a problem, right? So we get an error message here. The error is okay because it must have the same dimensions in order to add, and it does not. All right, let's do some multiplying now, right? Let's do A times B. So I'm going to go to my matrix menu, and I'm going to press A. I'm not going to do any addition, subtraction, multiplication. I'm just going to go back into my matrix menu and press B. Here we go, guys.
Discovered new dead body water. To help avoid skin reactions in the shower.
This has not happened to me once, and then today I just can't only get ads on my thing. So I find that very
I
frustrating.
used to,
Go for it. Okay, so now I have A times B. And do I get the same matrix I had before? Yes. Okay. Let's do another one. Let's try D times C. So we'll go second matrix D, second matrix C. All right, I get the exact same thing that I got before. Remember when we were doing this in class? Could we have done C times D? Could we have done matrix C times matrix D?
no,
Why not?
but I thought it was like 2, 3, and 3, 3.
Well, but see how we did, you said 2, 3 first?
Yeah.
You did D first and then you did C. Can I do C first and then D? No. Now, what happens if I didn't remember, or I wasn't thinking and I just want to check my work? Let's see what happens if I do C times D in the calculator. Let's see if I do matrix C times matrix D in the calculator. I get different error messages, but I want you to see what your error message looks like on your calculator. What does it say to you? Mine says something about the number of columns and rows are not the same, which makes sense. But kind of see what happens when you do yours on your thing. We'll even do transpose real quick too. Transpose, determinant, and inverse. That's kind of building to where I want to. But you guys kind of see all the things we did by hand we can do on the calculator. Cool, right? Okay, now I'm gonna go do my transpose, okay? Do you see how it says A and then capital T? That means I need to type A and then I need to type capital T. So second matrix A. Here we go again.
Discover new Dove body wash. with colloidal oats. Dries the skin and
I think it's how many keystrokes I do.
Oh.
So if I hit if I hit 10 keys, then it serves me
So
that.
annoying.
I agree. Okay, so AT, let's go back to my second matrix. And there's a menu we haven't touched yet. Do you see how we haven't touched the math menu yet? Go over to math. And do you see how the first thing it says is DET? I don't want to do that yet, but I want to do the capital T for transpose right underneath it. So I'm going to click that second one. And it literally pops up just a big capital T next to A. That's cool. Now I'm gonna need to hit B so that I get all of it. So I'm gonna go matrix B. So now I've got A transpose times B. And I should get the exact same thing I got last time, which I did. How cool is that? I think matrices are easy because there's a lot you can do in the calculator. So I'm trying to show you all the right things. I hope you guys are all with me so that you can do this too. Okay, now determinant. A 2x2, I told you you'll have to do by hand, but the 3x3, you're gonna be able to do in the calculator. So let's see how those work. I'm gonna go back to my matrix menu, and just like how the problem says DET and then it says A, I need my DET to go first. So I need to go over to my math menu and I'm gonna hit the DET button. So it's set up on my do my math page. And then now I wanna do my matrix A.
discover new Dove body wash with colloidal oatmeal. Dries the skin and the shower.
Sorry, guys.
You can say that.
All right, so we should get the exact same thing that we got earlier. We got 11 last time we do it. DET of A is still 11. Okay. So that means when you have bigger ones, you know that it will work because we see that the ones that we did by hand will match the ones that we're going to do on the calculator. Okay. We don't need to double check letter B. Let's double check C really quick. Let's confirm that that is -1. So I'm going to do DET of matrix C. And I get -1. So we just kind of went back and just reconfirmed a lot of the stuff that we've already done. Is everybody okay with that? Everybody's with me. Okay, I'm not answering any calculator questions after this, so hope you figured this out. Okay, now I want to go down. I don't want to put in the new matrix because we don't have that inputted. Number 4 uses all the matrices that we've already used before. Okay. The last thing we did yesterday was the inverses, and I told you for a 2x2, you need to be able to do that by hand, but anything bigger we can do in the calculator. Remember that we did 1 divided by the determinant, and then we multiplied it by kind of a scrambled up matrix. We'll practice that one more time today, but when I look at it on paper, it says A raised to the negative first, okay? So we want to put that on our calculator. I need to type my A first, just like we did on the other one. So I want A to go first. And do you know where in the calculator I press raise to the -1? It's that same button we've been pressing, right, Sterling? The same button we've been pressing over and over, but we kept doing second and then that button to get to the matrices. Now we're just going to press that button we've already been pressing, X raised to the -1. And now it says A to the -1, which is exactly what it said on my paper. So I've got that set up. It should not show me this in between step. It should go directly to here. However, it will give me decimals. And remember, I told you I don't really love the decimals. Do you remember how we make that fractions? Do you remember how we can make that fractions in our calculator?
There's a button somewhere.
Go to math. And then the very first thing on there says fraction, so we're gonna just hit that fraction. Here we go again.
Discover new Dove body wash.
Like, let's save ad 3 times things.
I know, maybe we'll get another one next time. So fraction, and then we press enter and I get 5/11, 2/11, -3/11, and 1/11, which is exactly what we got last time, right? Cool, right? Okay, now the reason we've done all of this is I don't want to do a C C or D to the negative first by hand. I don't want to do the inverses of matrix C or the inverse of matrix D by myself. So we're gonna go do that on the calculator. We already should have matrix C in your calculator and matrix D in your calculator. So we're just gonna go press those. So second x to the negative first to get to my matrix menu, press C. And then I'll type x to the negative first, so it looks exactly like the problem on my paper does. I'm gonna press enter. And that's it. That is my whole answer. What they just told me, I press C to the negative first on my calculator, I get out this matrix. -4, -8, 5, 1, 2, -1, 3, 5, -3. That is my matrix. That's my answer. That's the inverse of matrix C. That's it. So these straight up calculator problems are really simple, but you see how I have no work? So you can't go back and look at this and know kind of what we did, except for knowing to plug it into the calculator. And then also if I messed up and did not put my right matrix in, that screws everything up. Let's go do D now too. So let's go second matrix D, and why not, Ava?
It's not, it's like the thing is, the column is like not working a bit.
Yes, because Ryan, it's not a square. Just as simple as it needs to be a square matrix. And whenever it doesn't work, I just write no. If I get an error message, I just write no, and I'll probably write in my notes just so I know. I'm gonna say not a square, just so I remember. Okay. Now, I do want to do number 5 by hand. So I know I just kind of did a bunch of calculator stuff with you. I actually think we're probably done with calculator stuff for the day. We're gonna do number 5, and then I want to do letter A on 7-3, and then that's all I've got on the board for today, okay? Do you think you could do number 5 by yourself? Do you think you could find the inverse of a 2x2 matrix? If you maybe forgot, remember on our notes, this is what we talked about for inverses of a 2x2 matrix yesterday. So we talked about for the inverses of a 2x2 matrix yesterday. So I'm gonna be quiet. I want you to try this on your own. / with a friend, and then we'll talk about it together. All right, I'm going away from this page. I'm gonna go over here. Determinant. All right, I got my determinant to be 0. Is that what you guys got? You guys get 0? Yeah, okay. Signs of life are helpful. Okay, so now I'm gonna do 1 over 0 times, and let me scramble up my matrix. The -1 and -8 switch spots, and then the 4 and the 2 stay, but they go negative. Okay, cool. Say what?
Divide by 0.
We cannot divide by 0. So I cannot multiply 1 over 0 times anything, can I? Can I find the inverse of this matrix? No, right? We got to this point, we can't divide things by 0, we can't multiply by 1 over 0. So there is no inverse for this, no. Not gonna work, not gonna happen. It will not be a thing. Because I've got my determinant as 0. That's an okay determinant. The problem is I can't now do the inverse, okay? All right, the last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna do a little bit of by hand stuff for 7.3. It says we're going to use the inverse method in order to solve these, okay? And that's why I wanted to start it before I don't see you guys for a few more days. Since I don't see you tomorrow or on Monday, did I see you today and I don't see you until Tuesday. So I want to do one of these so we kind of have an idea of what's going on and remember how we did our inverses, okay? we're gonna have to do the inverses by hand in order to solve this next type of problems. Okay, before we do that though, do you see how this is a systems of equation? Systems of equations is a lot like matrices. They're just ways of organizing numbers. So this is the way to organize numbers, just like matrices are a way to organize numbers. So I can rewrite this as a matrix, okay? I'm gonna rewrite this as the matrix A times X equals B, okay? So I'm gonna have an A matrix, an X matrix, and a B matrix. My A matrix is made up of the coefficients in front of my X and Y on the left side. Okay, so my coefficients are 1, 2, 3, -1. And so I'm actually gonna write that next to A, I'm gonna write coefficients. All right, now my X matrix is going to be X and Y. It's just going to be a 2x1 matrix, X on top, Y on bottom. All right, and then B is going to be the final answer. It's going to be 8 and 3. And I'm gonna tell you why kind of we know all of these. I think the 8 and 3 are pretty self-explanatory. You guys okay with why those are their own little matrix and why it's a 2x1? Okay. My A is a 2x2, my X is a 2x1. And I'm allowed to multiply those together because the 2's match each other. And so I am allowed to multiply these two matrices together. Okay, if I were to multiply them, I'm gonna go first row, first column, okay? So I'm gonna do 1 times X, so that's X, plus 2 times Y, which is 2Y. You don't necessarily have to write it down, you can even just watch me. All right, do you see how that's the exact same thing as the beginning of my statement up here? Okay, so that's why it works. Everyone okay with that? I'll do the second one just to kind of prove my point, but you don't have to necessarily write this down. I just think it's a helpful kind of point to prove. I'm gonna do the same thing on the bottom. I'm gonna do 3 times X, which is 3X, and then -1 times Y, which is -Y. Which you see these two are the exact same thing as those up there, right? That's why we are allowed to write this in matrix form. Everyone good with that? I need you to understand that because this is gonna be contingent on like the rest of this unit. Cool? Okay. Now, we're gonna do what we call the inverse method. So in order to do the inverse method, we're getting our X matrix by itself. And in order to move the A matrix to the other side, we would normally divide it, right? However, we don't do division in matrices, we use the inverse matrix. So we're gonna do A to the -1 times B. No?
Since you got it at 3.
Okay, fine. All right, so that means I need to find the inverse of matrix A, and then I'm gonna multiply what I get there times B. So let's take our A matrix. I've got this 1, 2, 3, -1, and we're gonna go do the inverse of it. Okay? In order to do that, remember that we need to do the determinant first. So we're gonna do A times D minus B times C. So I'm gonna do the determinant. So I'm gonna do 1 times -1 minus 2 times 3. -1 minus 6, and so I get -7. Then we're gonna take 1 over -7 and multiply it by my kind of scrambled up matrix. So I'm gonna do my A and D switch, so I got -1 first and 1 last. And then my B and C stay in the same spot, but they go negative. I'm actually gonna kind of take this and rewrite this down here because I'm kind of running out of space. Okay, so 1 over -7 times -1, -2, -3, +1. And now I'm gonna distribute that 1 over -7 to everything. And so again, this is my A to the -1. This is my inverse of A. Everyone okay so far? The last step is I need to do A to the negative first times B. So I'm gonna take this matrix I just found and multiply it times my B matrix times 8 and 3. I know it stretches us to keep fractions, but I'm gonna really urge you to keep the fractions here, okay? So I'm gonna make that, when I multiply, we're gonna do 1 over 7 times 8, so that's 8 over 7, plus 2 over 7 times 3, which is 6 over 7. Okay, we'll break that apart in a second. Okay, now I'm gonna do the bottom. So I'm gonna do 3 over 7 times 8, which is 24 over 7. And then -1 over 7 times 3, which is plus -3 over 7. Okay. All right, now we're gonna simplify. So again, I asked you to keep it as fractions. They all have the same denominator, so 8 plus 6 is gonna be 14 over 7. What's that the same thing as? Amazing. What about 24 minus 3? That's 21. What's 21 divided by 7? 3. Awesome. So that means my matrix of X over Y is equal to my matrix of 2 over 3. So X is 2 and Y is 3. So could we have solved this systems of equation using elimination or substitution? Absolutely, but I asked us to do inverse method, so we did it this way. Okay. All right, that's all I had to get through today. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, I do not see you tomorrow. I do not see you on Friday or Saturday or Sunday or Monday, but I see you second period on Tuesday, and you have 7-1 homework due and 7-2 homework due, okay? We will have a quiz on Wednesday over the stuff that we've learned, and it will be a no calculator quiz.